eyeballs don't necessarily equal dollars. And so a vanity metric is anything that brings you eyeballs or opens or clicks, but you're not seeing any kind of related increase in revenue. Marketing by itself could be replaced by a robot. Marketing as a part of revenue can never be replaced by a robot. It's a part of the relationship that sales has with the customer. If your ego isn't driving things and it's not about the bar test, you're going to need a different tactic.
Jen Jurgens, thanks so much for joining us. CEO of One Bold Step. And are you founder or co-founder?
Well, originally founder.
Yes.
Yeah, founder. And then in 2019, brought on a business partner. And with as much as we've changed, co-founder.
Okay, that's great.
The original idea and what we became.
Yeah.
I have to give Adam some credit there.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a pretty cool guy. We like Adam.
Yeah. We'll keep him.
Yeah. And you've been a partner with Insight for several years, right?
Yeah, almost since the beginning of One Bold Step.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 2019?
2019, I think Mike and I met in 2020.
Okay. Yeah. Been a great partnership.
For both of us.
Yeah.
For sure.
Okay. Yeah, that's great. And Mike probably has more context in that than I do. But yes, absolutely. Agreed. Jen, since I have you kind of in the hot seat, something that I love to do is, especially as we're talking about any given subject, is I love to go to Reddit and find some of the most ridiculous comments that we can find. And I just want to get your thought process on it.
Let's do it.
So this podcast, we usually park on things that have some technical value. But today we want to talk more about like the business value. And we're both specialize in partnering with manufacturers, and you specifically on the marketing side, and you've been a tremendous help here. So let's get some thoughts about marketing here from Reddit. Are you ready for this?
Let's do it.
Do you ever jump on Reddit and read stuff just for entertainment?
That stuff gives me nightmares.
It does. It does. So this is my penny for your thoughts section of the podcast. First Reddit comment that I had that I think is probably a common misconception in marketing, but can't wait to get your thoughts. Marketing is just making sure you get your name out there. And then there were some comments underneath it that are my favorite. How I grow up on Instagram if posting daily isn't the answer to get more followers and consequently more sales. And I wrote it that way on purpose because that's exactly how the comments.
Because it was an 18-year-old that wrote it.
Yeah. And then the next one is, all you have to do is stand out in a crowded space. What are your thoughts on that?
Oh, can you equate that or relate it to revenue increase?
Yeah, perfect. Okay.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Because there are vanity metrics. There are parts of marketing and what I think marketing is mostly known for, which is advertising and promotion.
Okay.
That can and can't be connected to revenue.
Yeah.
But whenever I hear like, I just need to get my name out there, I ask, oh, is this for the bar test? Do you know the bar test?
No.
Yeah,
No?
it's like the
lawyer test.
No.
Okay.
No, you'll know your brand is successful if you're sitting in a bar, somebody asks you where you work and you say the name and they say, I've heard of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
If the bar test is important to you, then getting as many followers on Instagram
is
probably your jam.
That's the thing. Mm-hmm. Okay. Gotcha.
If your ego isn't driving things and it's not about the bar test, you're going to need a different tactic.
You said something very specifically, and I'm interested in this. Vanity metrics. Mm-hmm. That is such a good term, and I have never heard of it before. Can you describe that?
One of my favorites is if you are in a B2B situation, right? You are selling a very specific solution to most likely a smaller group of people or businesses, right? Whose problem you solve. Putting your face on a billboard isn't serving that well.
Sure.
It's serving one thing.
Yeah.
Yourself.
You.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The ego.
Yeah.
The ego. And so
it's really funny because Mike's been asking about billboards lately.
Yeah.
No,
I just drew one up last week for him. And
there's no way.
Just kidding, Mike. Just kidding. Yeah.
But do you know what I mean? Like there are things that we think are important in the equation, but the way that I approach marketing is more of an evidence-based approach.
Yeah.
And eyeballs don't necessarily equal dollars.
Yeah.
Right. And so a vanity metric is anything that brings you eyeballs or opens or clicks, but you're not seeing any kind of related increase in revenue.
So your main source of metric for success is that revenue increase, then, is what you're saying.
Yeah, and it does go into, this whole online rant that I had recently about lean growth and the growth manifesto that I know you're going to bring up.
Yep.
But if marketing is working in a vacuum, then their metrics probably are vanity metrics. It's probably clicks, it's probably impressions,
Okay.
shares, follows, because if marketing isn't getting feedback from their customer, which is sales, and if sales isn't getting feedback from their customer, which is actually the customer, then we're working on the wrong things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're burning some villages down in the marketing realm, huh?
Oh, a little bit, but I think
But it also makes me feel better, because the opposite of what you're saying is, years ago, is what I would have thought. I would have thought the likes, the subscribes, the sign up for the email list, that was a metric that you would gauge on how well you're doing. But of course not. How does that equate to the dollars being coming in?
it's a leading indicator.
Yeah.
But
It's not
the indicator. Very
Yeah,
right.
and I think that's what's so unique about you, because I wouldn't even say several years, a few years back, that's how many people would attribute, hey, this is our marketing and it's effective because look at these leading indicators. Where you're like, no, leading indicators are good and fine, but what kind of revenue can you attribute to that?
We used to be able to actually do marketing attribution, follow it almost all the way through to the end sale with our tools like HubSpot and connecting our, Google Ads. And as we've gotten more into this world of zero-click marketing, AIEO, and these types of things, not to mention buyers come in and out all over the place. It is really hard for marketing to specifically say, this activity did this thing.
Sure.
What is actually true is probably 17 different touches between sales and marketing were a part of that purchase decision.
Sure.
Is that why it works for us, Trav?
You got it. Yeah, I think something else that, as you were speaking, something that came to mind was, how many times do you see infighting between sales and marketing and even operations, and hey, this is why we're successful, and everybody's going to hold their own flag. And something that I found that was very unique into your manifesto was how integrated it is. And we'll talk about that in a second. But I want to get back to real quick the other pennies for your thoughts. Okay.
All right.
It'd be easy for me to pass over this right now because we're kind of diving right into it. But I want to go back. I think it's really important for us to make sure that we're addressing the things that the audience needs to know.
Yes.
The next one is, marketing is a waste of money. Some executive wit once said, only half of our marketing dollars do any good. Trouble is we don't know which half. Or maybe it was advertising.
Wow.
It was advertising, and the guy's name is right on the tip of my tongue, and it's going to come to me midway through this conversation. But it was basically half of all of my advertising dollars are wasted.
Sure.
I just don't know which half.
Yeah.
Right.
What are your thoughts on that?
That came from, I would say, brand advertising in the direct-to-consumer space.
Okay.
So imagine you're Coca-Cola, or you know what I mean? And you really are just trying to get brand recognition. Very hard to tie those dollars to a return.
Yeah.
Then, here comes the internet. Here comes all of the online advertising and the things that are supposed to be traceable and trackable. All the marketers march down this path of direct attribution tracking. We're going to prove what worked and what didn't work and tie every dollar. Oh, here comes AI and zero-click marketing and blows it all up again. So I will say partially true.
Partially true. Okay. Yeah.
Partially true.
Because there's no way to really attribute revenue.
And we try to set, what is the right and appropriate amount of money to spend on brand versus, I'll say, demand generation.
Ooh.
Okay.
I was wondering what you were
And
going to call
sales.
it. Demand
Generation or go to market. Well, you'll hear us say GTM a lot. Go to market.
Go to market.
Go to market. What are we going to do with this product specifically, to generate leads and interest and build databases and things. And we're sitting in the space of 30-70.
Okay.
30% brand, 70% go to market.
Because I feel like these days, when it comes to social media, the branding type of advertising is the easy, quick, come up with a creative little video for Instagram or a image or whatever, get your name out there, spend a bunch of money to just keep it out there, get an influencer talking about you, get them to review something, doing all that. I feel like that was the easy way to go, but I feel like that's not the smart way to go.
I guess the perception of it is interesting because I would say that your most thoughtful and hardest work can be on the brand, because if you don't get it right and then you just hire influencers to say things, they will destroy your brand faster.
And you might screw yourself.
Right. Now, on the demand generation side, we run experiments. We have small audiences. We have controls. That's where we're really testing and trying. And, that's where demos and pilots and things. Brand is hard. It takes years to build a reputation.
Mm-hmm.
And
you don't want to destroy it.
You don't want to destroy
quickly.
it. So think about it. Flip it.
You clarify what I was thinking. So
Yep.
in reality, like what I was, it's not the easy way out, but I do feel like so many brands that I've heard that have seen blown them up in my face on social media, I don't hear them anymore. Like I can't even name one off the top of my head right now, but I don't see them anymore. They're not advertising anymore as much as they used to.
Maybe because the brand wasn't as deep or memorable.
Maybe they fell into that trap where they just put all their effort into the brand and nothing
into go to market, or they put all their money into brand. And when it came to actually delivering, they didn't have the operations to back it up.
Yeah.
So people forget that product is a part of marketing.
Yeah. Okay, last one here. And this one I'm actually really interested in because I think it speaks into a bit of your model. But it says marketing is really just a bunch of content to share online. That's not a part of your model, just to be clear here.
Thanks. Oh, God. Okay.
It really was attributed to the comment, which was, ugh, so here's the thing. Coming up with ideas and making cool stuff. Easy and fun even, but actually organizing it all that into something that's making sense, that's where I hit a wall. So it's really this marketer that's saying, I'm just really I love being creative. I love coming up with brand stuff, but I'm struggling in the organization. Can you explain some of that? Because I feel like that's something you and your team have created a very good model in being organized.
It's funny. I was just rereading something, and I think it was Jim Collins. Okay. So out of Good to Great.
Yeah.
And it was a different book by him and someone else, but it was The Power of the And.
Okay.
Not or. And so what I like to say at One Bold Step is we need to be poetry and plumbing.
Okay. Yeah.
Right?
I like it.
Creative and discipline.
Yeah.
And there's so many more that you could put there, but it is that combination where marketing was never meant to be all creative.
Mm-hmm.
It's meant to be creative with a purpose.
Sure.
Right? And a direction. And it is business.
Yeah.
It's not art.
Yep.
It's a business function. It's part of the business school.
Yeah.
What's interesting is that advertising as a degree falls under communications.
Yeah.
Marketing falls under business.
Yeah.
Good point.
Yeah.
But the power of the and is the magic.
Which is actually leads us very naturally into your lean growth marketing manifesto, right? And it was super interesting to read. Like I said before, a lot of information. I actually think you're coming up against what a lot of, I think, colleges will even teach in marketing. So who knows, Jen, maybe you start teaching classes because what you have here is very different. And it almost seems like you are taking an approach to marketing that is integrated into business. It's not a portion or a department of business, but it's integrated. Is that true? And could you explain it a little bit?
Yeah. And I mean, in my advanced years, I have considered teaching as a part of my retirement.
I think you'd be
so
really
thanks
good
for
at it.
calling that out. Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
No, so back to the question. I think that with the advances, I was at the Grand Rapids Econ Club luncheon where they had the economist there talking about the economic outlook. And he said, and I quote, "You're going to have a lot of marketers with nothing to do thanks to AI."
Ooh.
He also said lawyers. I'm just going to throw that out there.
Ooh. Okay.
But I was like, no, that's not right. What is happening is that what people think marketing is, which is creative, is being made easier, faster, cheaper, more by AI. Mm-hmm. Correct. That's not what marketers should be doing. That's a portion of it. What marketers should be doing is to be a part of the revenue function of the business. Every business has, even nonprofits, have to have a revenue function and a revenue cycle and a revenue system.
Yeah.
Marketing by itself could be replaced by a robot. Marketing as a part of revenue can never be replaced by a robot. It's a part of the relationship that sales has with the customer. Mm-hmm. And you know what's crazy? So speaking to manufacturers, right? Where the Manifesto came from was a reread of the old book, This is Lean. And then I went back into TPS, so the Toyota production system. How did they say that Toyota became such an amazing manufacturer? They'll simplify it, right? They said, we just listened to what the customer said. We just listened to what the customer said. And then the customer said it, and the service reps heard it. So in most B2B companies, that would be your account management team.
Sure.
The account management team is responsible for communicating that to the sales team. The sales team is responsible for communicating that to the marketing team.
Which all got done correctly, it sounds like.
Yeah. And so in the world of Toyota, they did that operationally. That's what they built. That's how they built what they built. Those words went to the designers, went to the floor, went to the machinery, went to what is produced, and the information flows back and forth really smoothly. All that I am trying to do is say revenue is a process. Mm-hmm. It might be the most important process in your organization. You have not analyzed it or approached it like a process.
Gotcha.
You've looked at it like art and relationships and all of these things that you think it is. But at the end of the day, it's a process. And if it's a process, it can be made better.
Yeah.
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 It's also never done.
It's one of those things.
Say that. So you just said that it's also never done. Go deeper into that. What do you mean?
I studied supply chain as my undergrad. Okay.
Absolutely.
So the concept there, and that I've been obsessed with most of my life, is really efficiency and continuous improvement. Mm-hmm. So same thing that you're seeing on the shop floor. We made it this much better. Awesome. How can we make it better again tomorrow? The same thing is true of your revenue cycle and what your sales team is doing and your account managers and your marketing team is to each day try to figure out what they can make a little bit better than the day before. It goes back to even Ben Franklin and the Franklin Planner, where his pursuit of excellence was based on how do I make today a little more efficient than the day before?
I've heard of the Franklin Planner, and I've used it, and I didn't realize it was literally attributed to Ben Franklin.
He was the...
I did not know that.
Oh my goodness, he's an efficiency nut. He wrote down and tracked all of his experiments, everything, and how to make it faster and more efficient. So when I say it's never done, improvement is never done. And then I'll throw this out there for manufacturers as well. As we all know, if you identify a constraint or a bottleneck and you fix it, you will create another one somewhere else. Let's say that your problem was getting out quotes in your revenue process. You're not getting out quotes fast enough. You fix that, guess what happens?
The problem is earlier on.
Yeah, or the problem is later on.
To come into quote.
Now we need more leads. Yeah. You know what I mean? And so continuous improvement and looking at revenue like a process, especially if you're a manufacturer, makes a heck of a lot of sense. It's never done. There's a great reference in the back of a book that you actually recommended, Travis, which was The Goal. Where he's referencing, I think it's Deming's, Standing on the Shoulders of Giants. In my manifesto, I'm not saying anything new. I am applying what has worked really well across multiple industries and in different places to a process that is really hard for most companies. And if it's not hard, it can always be made better.
In the beginning of the Lean Growth Manifesto, you talk about marketing manifesto. You have this, I would call it a strong opening line. And I sent you this question specifically because it said, you had said random acts of marketing, right? And so I would love for you to describe what random acts of marketing are and then pinpoint the ones that you see the most. Be like,
squirrel.
This one, this one, this one. Yeah.
Squirrel. Shiny quarter. There was a long time when everybody wanted to go viral with a video on YouTube.
Sure.
Right? And I was like, why? Who's your audience? Where's your audience? Is your audience on YouTube? No. Okay. Time out. What are we really doing here, right? Social media had its day, probably just like AI is going to have its AIEO right now, is having its day.
Sure.
I love that she's saying having its day.
Yeah.
I love that you're saying that it's not here forever. This is cement. This is...
If everybody does it, it's
Exactly.
no longer
Right.
unique anymore,
Exactly.
right? And if
Yeah.
everybody's throwing the same slop out there,
I love that you are...
you're never going to
saying
stand
that.
out.
Well, remember when you used to staple flyers to a pole, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
For
it,
sure.
it had its day, right?
Yeah. And it's fun because I think some of these old things that people aren't doing anymore might come back. Now, I'm not suggesting like the turkey drop. I don't know if you guys are old enough to have watched the WKRP turkey drop. Where they're going to drop turkeys for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I remember that.
Banners behind planes, flyers under your windshield.
Sure.
Some of these things
We're going
in small
back,
amounts could be kind of fun.
Going
right?
back to the 80s.
Yeah.
Here we go.
But the point is it in relation to what you are trying to actually accomplish? And so what we are finding is that we can go really deep into what problem do you solve for this specific audience?
Sure.
Where is that audience? What questions are they asking? Versus the CEO who comes into the room, and this happens with almost all of my clients. They saw something, they heard something, they were at a conference, and they're like, we need to do geofencing at our next event. Or
So random geofencing.
I know, but just, do you know what I mean? Like
Yes.
they come out of nowhere, and I'm like, whoa, we're in the middle of this really targeted campaign towards your audience, and I've got 10 more pieces of content that need to get done. Do you want us to stop everything and do geofencing around an event? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's not always that it is just the shiny quarter. It's the opportunity cost of the shiny quarter or the squirrel.
Sure.
Because we're working on things that actually are strategic.
Yeah.
They're just taking longer, and you need to be patient.
Yeah.
I love to ask B2B CEOs, how long is your sales cycle? 18 months? 12 months?
Some don't know.
12 months, right? Can you give marketing 90 days to figure out this campaign and get it launched? Because if it's not right, it's just a waste. It's a waste of time and energy. It's another distraction. Golf balls. That's my favorite one. There's my favorite distraction.
Let's print our name on golf balls.
Well, I'm in the middle of product positioning.
Yeah.
And we're trying to, this is an old example, but we're trying to change this product to be platform agnostic. And
Sure.
who does it apply to? And I'm laying this all out for the CEO, and he's half listening, and he's like, yeah, but can I get our logo on some golf balls? Yes, you can.
Yes, you can.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Caleb, can we get golf balls?
That's an easy quote for you to write over to him, right?
I'll get that done right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So I know, or I think you're not saying this, but if somebody was tuning in and just hearing initially what you had just said, what they might be hearing is, hey, there's not really a space for social media. There's not really a space for email campaigns, that kind of stuff. I know that you're most likely not saying that. Could you bring some clarity into that? How does social media play into the Lean Growth Manifesto? How does, a podcast or YouTube or slipping a paper underneath a windshield, that kind of stuff, how does that play into what it is that you guys are so good at?
Well, if you think about it, and Brian, I think you said it too, it's, I don't know, we used to say 8 to 12 touches to turn a B2B prospect into a buyer.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, it's now probably in the 20s or 30s.
Okay.
Right. And so the magic comes from having the consistent brand established, right? And then creating from that your content strategies and your go-to-markets, where we're going to take that same message and we're going to replicate it across the channels that make sense. TikTok, no. LinkedIn, yes.
Yeah.
Right. But at the end of the day, the tactic doesn't matter if you don't have your house in order.
Yeah.
Right. If your messaging is coming off like you are schizophrenic, no one's going to understand what the brand
She pointed
does.
at you, Ryan.
Yeah,
when she said that.
I'm fine with that.
That was over my shoulder, wasn't it?
I definitely
kidding. I'm
don't own
totally
the business either, so I'm okay coming off.
But does that make sense? Like,
Yeah, absolutely.
you have to start with the core before you go into tactics, and everybody wants to start with tactics.
Get your house in order, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Well, and I love that because and there are times that we've even been guilty of this, not on purpose, but where you're like, hey, great, you're going to get your name out there, but what are you doing for them?
Yeah.
And can you articulate that?
Yep.
in a way that, number one, doesn't bore the audience, and then number two, that's going to be most effective and most efficient. So I've appreciated the challenge when we have been in places where we're like, hey, we're going to do this new thing, or we want to do this new thing. And usually it's Caleb that's like, he pulls up the strategy and he's like, hey,
where does that
fit in?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yep.
I like to think of it sometimes in my head as the visual of a factory.
Yeah, sure.
In the factory, you've got multiple lines running, right? And so for a company, you've got multiple things. You don't do just one thing.
Yeah.
But each one of those things appeals to somebody different. If you can't articulate what each thing does for that exact audience, like what value it has, how in the world are you going to roll that up into an overall brand that makes sense?
Yeah.
Right.
Sure.
And so sometimes you have to go really narrow, and it's painful. And you have to do that a couple of times to figure out at a high level, okay, what do we solve overall? What is our overall brand position? And again, if you get stuck in the tactics and you haven't done that deeper work, the tactics can seem disjointed and not successful.
There was one meeting that we had very recently where you had this flow of marketing. You had pulled up kind of what are not just our channels, but also specific products, what we're going to be doing. And you were like, hey, this here, the green is good. The yellow's okay, right? And we've got stuff on yellow, and that's okay. But the red is a problem, right? And so you've taken the Toyota and the goal that, hey, where's the bottleneck? And you've said, okay, if these are the main, products or resources that you're providing or services that you're providing, and this is red, this is a problem, right? Like this is and you even reference it in the manifesto, which is that Toyota hit the stop button. Something's not working here.
Yeah.
How would you, if you could put that in plain English for us, how do you identify those things within your own company? And what do you do as far as strategy when you do identify those things?
When you talk about revenue, there's typically 3 levers you can pull. There's the obvious one, which is net new.
Yeah, bring them in.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. The cross-sell and upsell. Mm-hmm. So to your existing customers, are they buying everything that you offer?
Yeah.
And then there's the third one, which is retention, which in manufacturing is pretty much seen as, because there's not typically a contracted thing. Sometimes there is.
Yeah.
But it's the people who just buy from you over and over and over again because they trust you, they know you, they love you, and they do it, right? You have 3 levers to pull.
Yeah.
Now, if you really kind of broaden that and you add the marketing funnel on the front of it, right, inside of net new, you've got awareness, interest, consideration, decision.
Sure.
Then you go to cross-sell, upsell, and then you go to retention. So that's your flow, right? Mm-hmm. And what you're trying to do is, no matter where somebody comes into it, you're trying to move them to the space of repeat and super happy customer. Mm-hmm. So when we look at a product line, for example, and we audit, where are people coming in? Are you not getting enough leads? Do we have an interest problem, right? If we get the leads, are we not be able to get a quote out?
Yeah.
All right. So we're not nurturing them. Okay. They've never bought anything else. They just bought one thing. Do we have a cross-sell problem? Mm-hmm. They bought once and then they left. We have a retention problem. Okay. If I look across this whole thing, if I changed one thing, what would you see the most incremental revenue increase from?
Yeah.
Retention.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because
Always.
I know when selling
Always.
like in our business, selling one project to a client that you got along with, everything went great. You sold this one project, the project went up awesome, and you don't ever hear back from them. You're like, were we that good?
Yeah.
That
Or
we just got them the one thing they wanted? But there's so many things we can do. And I talk to them about these things. How do they not want that stuff? How are they not coming back to me?
yeah. Yeah.
I think about that all the time.
Probably not a priority for them right now.
Yeah,
And
right.
Yeah, that's something that you would need to tell marketing so they could get the drip
so there's a
messaging going.
process
Yeah.
to adjust there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And, Travis, we analyze that. And then, really, red, yellow, green is classic management dashboard, approach to it. Visibility.
Yeah.
Red isn't bad. Red means all hands on deck.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Right? We got to solve this problem first because we've agreed across sales, marketing, and account management that this is our best opportunity to move the needle.
Yeah.
All hands on deck. We're going to solve this first.
Yeah. Yeah. And even to your point, the red, yellow, green, that's manufacturing too,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
We use ignition quick start or ignition. That green is like, yeah, we love seeing that. The yellow is like, okay, what's going on? Is this changeover? And then the red's like, we need to take care of this for sure.
And it exists in your sales process, in your marketing, in your revenue process all day, just like it exists on the shop floor.
If anyone was curious, we do have an ignition quick start program. We would love to talk to you about.
Yeah.
Says the shameless plug.
Take this opportunity for a shameless plug. Something that you talk about within the manifesto, which was actually, it was super relatable. Because I think everybody has experienced this at some point. You've experienced it in a unique way because of your own personal story. But the Mayo Clinic, you talk about flow and you utilize Mayo Clinic. Would you just give us a brief understanding of what the example and then why that speaks into marketing?
Yeah. And it's not really my example. It comes straight out of This Is Lean, the book.
Okay, gotcha.
But I built from it because it makes so much sense to so many people. So the story is, and it was my personal story, right? You think something is wrong with you. In my case, a breast cancer scare. And you call and you get an appointment and they're like, yeah, you might have something going on. And then you wait. And then you get a test, right? And then you wait. And then you get, we need another test. And then you wait. And then you see a doctor. And then you get the idea, right?
Yeah.
So from concern to diagnosis can be 3 months or longer. Compare that to the Mayo Clinic. You go there and you're like, I think something is wrong. And they move you over the course of 2 or 3 days between all of these experts to come to the diagnosis faster. What is the difference? The difference is in terms of operational practices, a concept of resource efficiency versus flow efficiency. So a regular hospital runs on resource efficiency, which is even how the state manages things. So you can't get a CT machine unless you can prove
that you
need it. Certificate of need, right? And you can't do that unless you have enough demand.
Yeah.
Right. And so what they're doing is they are jamming that thing as full as they possibly can to get the ultimate value out of the expense. And they're doing the same thing with the nurse's time and the doctor's time. And everybody is really freaking busy. Right. What they are not doing is maximizing the client, the customer, coming through the journey faster. So resource efficiency flies in the face of flow efficiency, which if you think about your unit of production being the customer, how fast do I get them through the process? You wouldn't pay any attention to how booked up your CT machine was.
Sure.
You would get enough people in to actually be profitable and efficient while serving them better.
Yeah.
Now, it's not a perfect state. You can never achieve perfect flow efficiency.
Yeah.
But you can attempt it. You can create.
You can strive for it.
Correct. What is the right amount of buffer so that you can move people through as fast as possible? When you look at sales and marketing, especially, right, there's all of this activity, these things that you're trying to do, time out, stop. What is actually moving the customer faster through the system? And if, in the case of us working with Insight, do we have enough time built into our relationship where if you have an emergency, we're able to handle it because you're more important than the other tasks and things that we had lined up. We have built-in buffer into our agreement because you're more important than our task list.
Yeah. So very practically, how does that play out then? So take that from the Mayo Clinic example that you've used.
Yeah.
What does that mean for resources on the marketing side?
In our case, it's the poetry and the plumbing, right?
Yep.
And so when we do capacity forecasting, just like any other company, my inventory is hours. It's people's hours.
Yeah.
Right. And so that equation is never perfect.
Sure.
Like, what is the maximum capacity of a content writer in a 40-hour work week to actually write really good content and have room in there to have to go deeper? Some are going to be faster and easier to write. Some are going to be, right? And so what we do is we set annual billable capacity goals. Those do not drive the daily tasks.
Okay. Gotcha.
Right. So you're looking at it from just like any shop floor, you're looking at it from a broader perspective. How much uptime do I expect from that machine? I know there's going to be downtime.
Yeah.
Right. Would I ever forecast based on 100% uptime?
No.
Never. Is 60% the right number? I don't know.
Yeah.
Seems like the right number. You know what I'm going to do next year?
65.
I'm going to make it a little better. Right. And I'm going to look back at the data. How much time do I need to set aside for ongoing education? How much time for internal operations?
How do you get that number higher up?
How much time for sick time and vacation? All of that needs to go into the calculation so that you don't break your system.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It goes back to the old, this is inventory management 101, where there's a river, right? And if the water or the inventory is too high, you don't see the rocks.
Yeah.
And if the water is too low,
You see too much of the rocks.
you can't get through the river, right?
Yeah.
And so you're constantly trying to moderate and figure out. Now, with AI coming in, things that used to take us so long don't anymore.
Speeding up.
But other things are taking longer. So it's changing the buffer. It's changing.
The bottlenecks are changing.
Yep. It's a constant calculation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think your inventory is actually a little bit more complex, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it speaks into what you guys are so good at, which is that co-managed relationship as well, in that it's not just hours, but it's also skill set. And so, especially for manufacturers, when you're hiring somebody in that marketing field, you've got somebody that maybe has been in it for a while and has a pretty good understanding, maybe a jack of all trades on the marketing side, might be that director, but then you've got other people who are maybe more limited in their skill set, and I shouldn't say limited, I should say focused in their skill set.
Yeah.
In something that I've found with One Bold Step is that you guys have the skill set and the resource along with the hours. And that even speaks into a bit of the goal, in that you have maybe a machine that's not running 100% of the time, but you have the machine for when you need it, right?
Right.
And is that true, that the complexity is hours for sure, or your inventory is hours, but it's also skill set, right?
Definitely. Yeah. And if you think about it, when you're working together to build a growth plan, you're involving sales and marketing and account management in that planning process.
Yeah.
And a big part of it is just the authenticity of what you do well and what you don't do well. Because at the end of the day, whomever can do something the best should absolutely do it.
Yeah.
Right?
Sure.
And then having a consultancy that's like, no, we're going to do it all. I don't care for that, because perhaps you're better at that one thing, or you've got the subject matter expertise. What we want to do is kind of wrap around and just fill those gaps.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it is more of a complex forecasting exercise because of it.
Yeah.
It's not just people and time, but it's people and skill sets and time.
Yeah. Well, I think it's unique too, because I do know, and I have friends in marketing that work for outsourced marketing companies, and like it can be really complex just navigating the relationship of who's doing what and how are we going to do it and how do we manage it and how do we come together and know what the direction is and all of that stuff. And I think you guys have really come up with a great model for success in that.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. And I think a big part of it is the relationship, the trust in, hey, you said you were going to do this. We think it needs to be a little bit more like this.
Sure.
Do you want us to take it next time? You take this next time, and down the road we go. Nobody's feelings are hurt.
Yeah.
We're all working toward the same goal.
Yeah.
The same goal is revenue, right? And
Absolutely.
we're agreeable and reasonable adults in the room,
Yeah.
and we can work together to figure it out.
Yeah.
And I think just like any other company, at One Bold Step, the people I interact with are positive people. They are smart people. They are willing to hear what I have to say, even if they know it's not something that maybe I should be thinking about or want to, but they give me the opportunity to do it. They don't shut me down. They don't talk down to me. They feel like a partner.
And don't you think that's the thing that AI is not going to be able to replace?
100%.
I think about
100%.
technology. I think about what you do. It is not that you're the smartest or that you know the most. It is the ability to critically problem solve and be relational and hear and understand and be empathetic that is unique to humans.
Yeah.
And so I would rather find the right personality and train the skills than find the right skills and have the wrong personality for the role, right?
I think we feel that same way here at Insight.
I love problem solvers.
Yeah.
I love people who are like, I'll figure that out. I'm going to figure that out. They're thoughtful.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I can just tell just by the few people that I do interact with at your business. Rock stars.
Thank you.
They're rock stars.
Don't tell them.
So much.
It's going to go to their heads.
Yeah, don't worry. They will not.
No,
I'm not going to say
they
names.
already
They're not going to see
know.
this. But they've taught me things that I just in conversation, not that we weren't going out to. I wasn't going out to learn anything. Maybe had a question specific to HubSpot or how do we do this mailing campaign. And it turned into a conversation, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I just kind of learned 3 things, and I go share with him, and I'm like, okay, this is, and it's already on his radar. We're like, dude, we're all on the same page.
So do I turn the whole company into a training company?
Let's do it.
Let's have Adam just freak out right now. There she goes, being visionary again.
I'm just saying, what your guys do, you do well.
Thank you.
If we get back to it here on that marketing manifesto side, you touched on this earlier, and so I want to give you more of a platform for it because it's really, really interesting. Because I think most manufacturers and most anybody that's in marketing sees a marketing perspective as top down, and you say no, it actually needs to be reversed. It needs to flow up. Can you just talk a little bit about that and park on the importance of it?
And it's true in so many different scenarios. Like they used to say in management school that like authority came from the top, but knowledge came from the bottom.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And I think the same is very true with marketing, unfortunately, being the farthest away from the actual end user in the revenue cycle. Mm-hmm. And so salespeople can also be a little bit away from it because they're dealing with the prospect. The prospect has a problem that the salesperson is trying to solve.
Yeah.
That's not necessarily what the market needs, and it might not be what your current customers are getting solved for, correct?
Too nuanced.
Correct. And so having the ability to roll up and roll down is vital to marketing actually being successful.
Can I ask a follow-up question? Because
Sure.
that's actually really good. I've taken several marketing courses. Obviously, you know marketing well. How have we missed this for so many years? Because I remember the first thing I ever learned in a marketing course was know your market.
Yeah.
Know your market.
Yeah.
But then in practice, it's actually the opposite to a certain extent.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not trying to be critical here. I'm just saying, like, the first thing I learned was know your market. But then when you get into how I've seen marketing done, it's, oh yeah, we could talk about this or we could talk about that. And it's not really, we haven't really gone to a place often, especially in the manufacturing realm, where you're like, what does the client need?
Yeah.
Like, what is the main? Why have we gotten that so wrong?
I think technology is a part of it. It's changed a bit about the way.
By that. I'm just kidding.
But okay, let me take it back to Toyota, right?
Yeah.
One of their principles or practices, I might say this wrong. It looks like the word Gemba, Gemba.
Okay.
Which translates to the practice of walking the shop floor.
Yeah.
Actually, or
Sure.
MBWS management by walking around, MBWA. What happens with marketing, especially as marketing becomes more digital, is that there is less opportunity to actually do. Remember focus groups?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Where we used to actually try to get the words from the customer, the voice of the customer, right? I think that marketing has become separated from, not from the market, from the person.
Sure.
And the more opportunity, too, that even that sales probably has to be on the floor of their customer or to be in the situation, the better they get at prescribing the solution.
Sure.
And so we have to figure out how the entire, I'm going to keep referring to it as the revenue department, right?
I like it.
Can get the customer's needs translated all the way through.
Yeah.
And, there's a lot of factors probably beyond the technology, beyond the work from home, beyond that have made marketing an office job versus a person-to-person job.
Yeah. How would a leader know? I mean, because so my mind can be cynical at times. And so if I'm somebody watching this, I want to be cynical. I want to be like, oh yeah.
She's crazy.
Yeah. Like, whatever. She's crazy. How would a leader know if they've fallen into this practice of top-down marketing instead of flow up?
Are they tired?
Ooh. Great question.
Ooh.
Do they wonder why they're spending so much money on marketing?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Or are they like, I'm never going to spend any money on marketing ever again because it doesn't do anything? Do they have a lot of marketing people quit?
Sure.
They're burned out, right?
Yeah.
There are a number of telltale signs. Yeah, for sure. But also they'd be frustrated with sales. They would wonder why, their great ideas aren't being picked up by everyone.
Yeah.
They would wonder why clients didn't stay. They would wonder across the whole revenue operation.
Sure.
We have this great product. Why don't people keep buying it? Why aren't people buying more of it? Why isn't the message landing, right? That is an indicator that the revenue operation is not aligned and it's not optimized.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
They should be able to, in the perfect world, have a system where they know that what they put into it has a somewhat predictable outcome. I'm going to throw, black swan economy craziness out because there are things beyond our control, but they should be comfortable with the investment to the level that they are confident in its return.
Man, we have touched on so many things, and I want to be conscientious of your time. But there are a couple more questions that I want to talk about specifically as this. You had said, hey, we do 70%, 30 or 70% more
go to market.
Go to market. Yeah. Thank you. And then 30% brand recognition, that kind of stuff.
Yep.
You stated that, or you made it pretty clear that brand is not decoration, but it's operation. Could you go into that, explain that, like open up our eyes a little bit about that? Because I found that somewhat profound. So all that to say, please, I'd love to hear from you on that.
Yeah, I think it goes back to what I said. Like you can say who you are over and over and over again, but the minute that your actions don't line up with what you say,
you're screwed.
Thank you. Yes.
I said it.
Yep.
She didn't.
But do you know what I mean? Like your brand can get so far ahead of your operations. Oh, no, Top Gun. Your mouth is writing checks that your body can't cash, right? Did I say that right?
Yeah, I think it was a different word other than body, but yeah.
Yeah, do you know what I mean?
No,
yeah.
I think we're good.
Okay.
I think what you said was perfect.
I made it G-rated.
You made it awesome.
But brand is a lot like that. Your reputation is not just what you say, it's what you do.
Yeah.
If you can't do it, slow your roll.
Shouldn't that be an easy thing to go by? Shouldn't that be an easy thing to remember? Shouldn't that be an easy thing to just know as a CEO, a leadership team, a marketing team? Shouldn't it?
No. Because as a CEO, as a leadership team, you're probably a visionary. You're probably really
not
optimistic.
Caring about that.
You just need somebody to kind of help you tap the brakes a little bit.
Thank you.
I mean, I don't want to be the dream killer, but I do want to say, whoa, hold on. Let's make sure that we can live that brand, not just say it.
Yeah. And I feel like from not at Insight, at other places I've worked, the way you described how, whether it's leadership, who's making decisions on marketing, those I've worked with previously have, I feel like, fallen into some traps in that could have been reasons why I ended up leaving the business to begin with.
Yeah.
In a sales capacity, an account management capacity, as an external prospect facing capacity, things are different here at Insight. And it doesn't turn me away. It wants me to get invested and want to know more. And like, yes, I get the track we're on. I know how our marketing efforts are doing all these things, and I want to be on board with it. That was super vague, but I can just see it. Yeah.
Well, and I think too, like Insight, we're learning, we're growing. There's several of these things that we're guilty of, but you've been kind and gracious enough to say, hey guys, you need to think about this differently. And, so glad that you're not experiencing the impact of it yet, but we've had to grow in some of it as well. So.
Yeah. A perfect example is the Lean Growth Manifesto that you read isn't publicly available yet. Do you know why?
No. Because you're still working on it?
My team isn't comfortable with all of the concepts yet.
Yeah.
Because if if it's in my head and it's clear to me, that's great. That's not my company yet.
Yeah.
Right. And so the Lean Growth Manifesto in its infancy is turning into a series right now of 7 Friday classes that we are only doing internally at One Bold Step. Now, the patience that is required on my part,
that's a lot,
to not just want to go to market with us.
Guys, let's do this.
Let's go. Let's
pull
go.
the cord.
Yeah. And you will see me in my personal LinkedIn establishing thought leadership in the space because I believe in it and I know it and it's my background and I've studied it and I've survived the merger of Konica and Minolta. Do you know what I mean? Like these are my experiences.
Sure.
So it makes sense to me. It doesn't make sense to the whole team. It is not ready to be a part of the One Bold Step brand yet. And I will hold it.
Kudos.
I will work on it until everyone is comfortable. And then you will see the evolution of it with the One Bold Step brand, but not now. Yeah. And I'm very much known for saying, well, it makes perfect sense to me. Right. And they're like, yeah, to you.
I love it.
So, this Friday is an entire deep dive into flow efficiency. That's what we're doing at One Bold Step as part of our ongoing education and buffer around what we do. So,
well, and I think, I want to brag on you, and Mike is like this as well, the CEO, our CEO as well. You guys are so good at listening and saying, oh, okay, the team is drawing something out here. And even if it makes sense to me, there may be some things I need to work through before we launch this. And that gets you team buy-in and all the things that you need to be successful in that. But already we've seen, a streamlined approach to some of the things that that are in play now for us. And so I'm certain that's probably happening with your other clients as well.
So do you like the poetry part of what we do better or the plumbing? Because we do a lot of admin systems work, a lot of repeatable processes.
Yeah,
and then
I like the poetry.
We have Angie. So
I like the poetry is my jam.
Yeah.
I'm a plumbing guy.
Yeah.
I want the structure. Like I want the administration.
I think that's why we work together. So
the power of the power of the and.
Yeah.
It's not or.
Yep. No. Nope. Totally. You highlighted something where you're like, okay, if you're throwing brand out and there's no operations, you say this. One of the biggest signs that is happening is that you're competing on price. Tell me about that, because the reality of it is what we face even in the market at times is like RFPs. Like people are just going to shop. You know what I mean? And we've come to the place where we're like, we're not doing RFPs anymore. If you want an RFP, Insight's not the place for you. And not actually, to be honest with you, most of the time we're cheaper. It's just, I don't want to do it. Like I don't want the client that we're going to sit next to and they're going to be like, hey, in a year, we don't really care about the relationship. We care more about whether or not you can have lower rates, because we believe in the value in what we bring, not only in our skill set, but also in the model that we bring as well.
Right.
Why is it that if you're finding that you're competing on price all the time, it's most likely how you're marketing?
In our case, we're usually going up against a preset budget.
Sure.
Right. And my biggest challenge is to get the CEOs to not think of it as marketing budget, but to also think of it as sales operations budget and systems budget.
Yeah.
And it's not just marketing budget that our activities touch. And so it's almost like the market for what we do, it's defined on the East Coast and the West Coast. They call it revenue operations. It's not defined here in the Midwest. And so it's almost like I have to create the category to prove that the value is beyond what you would normally think of in a marketing budget. And so that's one part of brand that I think is leading to your question, Travis.
Yeah.
Which is if they think I'm a marketing agency, their price expectations are different than if they see actually what it is I'm doing has a different value. So one, are you being compared in the right way? So when it's you versus someone else and you're running the insight model, which is very strategic, right? You're not just looking to sell licenses. You're trying to solve a problem and keep somebody safe and be strategic and help them. It's a much deeper consultative value prop. If you go up against somebody who's just a Microsoft partner selling licenses, that's apples and oranges.
Yeah.
You're not competing in the right market.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Your brand, your value prop is not clear.
Yeah.
Because if it were clear, you would never be compared to that in the first place.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Yeah. Yep. It's tricky, right? Like when you are first and when you are leading into a new space, creating the market takes time.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
You can think the market exists, but you don't know.
Sure. Okay. So this is my outro question.
Oh boy.
Say somebody's been with us for the last 40 minutes.
Yeah.
They're hearing this. They're relating. Maybe they're crying because they're like, she's describing something that is real.
I was hoping she was
to talk to Jen.
Yeah. I was hoping she was going to tell some jokes. I'm like, okay, yeah.
All that to say, I think there are lots of people who are sitting in a marketing or sales seat and they're feeling overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And they're like, I'm dropping 60 hours a weekend, can't see my kids, like can't figure out like what the problems are here, like just relating.
Mm-hmm.
What are the first things that they should consider and how should they start moving forward?
Back up.
Ooh.
There is no tiger.
Okay.
Okay. If you are working 60 hours a week, you are doing too much because
you're a firstborn. You have too much anxiety to begin with.
Yes. I would go back to this practice of what is the one thing I'm going to do today that's going to move the needle, right? Really move the needle. Forget the 20 task list. Bring it down to the one. And if you've got 20 tasks on your list and you're in an organization where it's like, no, you need to do all that, like prove it. Prove that I need to do all these things to be, what does success look like for Pete's sake? Is it crossing all these things off my list or is it moving the needle? Because I guarantee that not all those things are moving the needle. There's no way.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yep. It comes down to prioritization. It comes down to the $100 game, right? That we have played numerous times. If you've got 5 product lines you're trying to launch all at once, and you split them 20, 20, 20, 20, 20,
yeah,
nothing's a priority.
Sure.
Nothing's going to get done.
Same.
It's all the same. So somewhere, somehow, there has to be a prioritization around the things that actually matter. And in my world, what really matters is stuff that moves the revenue needle.
Yeah.
And if you can break that down to a daily thing or a weekly thing, even better. But that's hard to do itself.
If you look at, go back to like Agile, go to Scrumban, look at what everything it is that you're working on. Does that even fit into a 40-hour work week, right?
Yeah.
The whip is too big.
Yeah.
Something's got to give. And even using that to say to whomever you're reporting to, when they come to you and say, hey, can you also do this campaign? Or I'd like to buy hams from the local school as a fundraiser and promote it in their newsletter. And you're like, I need to do a newsletter ad for your school paper while I'm trying to launch, a campaign for this new product.
Yeah.
Which of these things would you like me to drop?
Yeah.
Right. And that takes a lot of courage. But it also is, I think, important if you're going to have a sustainable, successful career.
Yeah.
It doesn't take much courage, and I'll show you how. Hey, Travis, I have all these things on my plate that I need to do this week and next week. I got to take some of those off, man.
Yeah. Or as I like to say, nobody can do it all.
Nobody can do this all, Travis. I can only do like 2 things.
I say this to Travis.
All I would say is, what are those things, Ryan?
Yeah.
Ooh, he got me.
Even Batman
He
had a
got
butler.
me.
That's awesome. Jen, thank you so much for your time, your energy, your thought processes. I am actually really excited to see how this will play into how people start to view marketing.
Will it be a book? Will it be will it be a college class?
That's what I'm wondering.
We don't know.
Yeah. It'll be really fun.
Thank you so much. This was really fun to talk about it, and it just helps me process the thoughts even more. So I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you.